Hello and welcome everyone to the Super Learning Training here this Saturday, September 27th. Hopefully you can hear me okay. My name is Jake Cunningham, work with a company named White Dove Global Marketing, and this is part of our, we're working with Immune University to help produce some excellent training from you from the source. And today we want to welcome everybody on a Saturday morning, and I want to let you know about some simple tech support, self-troubleshooting things that you can do easily when listening to the webinar on this platform. This platform uses something called Google Hangouts, and it's a shell that creates this privatized room so that we can take advantage of the Google Hangout platform, as well as making it very secure, private, and a really controlled setting. With that said, if you have any audio issues, the number one troubleshooting tip is simply to try refreshing your browser. So if there's a delay on this live stream, sometimes you can even pause the stream, wait a few seconds for it to buffer, and then move forward, or you can refresh the browser. Now, your direct connectivity and your strength of internet will directly affect your audio and video if you're having any issues. So double check your internet, wireless, or preferably being hard lined in. That would be definitely preferable. And again, if you're not using Google Chrome, it's a Google Hangout platform. That's what's recommended is Chrome. You may want to try some of the other browsers. It works on all the browsers, but we prefer Google Chrome. Other than that, you can chat away in the chat box. It's going to be up in this corner. You should have a chat box. I'll be observing, helping troubleshoot, managing questions throughout the couple hours that we're going to be learning. And other than that, I just want to commend you all. I want to welcome you to the show and to the presentation and the learning. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Professor Desiree Dubonnet. Desi has been an advocate for not only our equipment, but really a advocate for alternatives and different options in the world today. I really don't have to introduce her. We all know it doesn't need introduction. She doesn't need introduction. We want to get into the meat and potatoes of the learning today, but it's just an honor to be working with you, Desi, and I hope we continue to do this successfully. So have a great learning. I'm here if you need me, and I'll shut off the camera and pass the ball. So take it away.
Well, here we are, and getting started here. New direction for the quantum industry. Like I've always said, and I just want to reiterate for the new people here, people asked us about what our device. I'm going to talk about device, the Skios, the Indigos, the EPFX, all that, and now the Eductor. And all of this technology has had a autofocus cybernetic loop in that we measure the body electric and then we treat the body electric. We're going to measure the body electric. We're measuring about 100,000 electrical variables every second. We're going to measure the capacitance and the inductance, and that's the magnetic and the static and the oxidation and the hydration. We measure all these incredibly complex electrical variables. And then we send in a pulse to treat that. Then we measure the reaction. And the reaction determines, well, okay, I like that, I didn't like that, that was good, that was partially good, give me more. And then the body, we're able to tell just what the body wants, and then through this loop, measure, treat, repeat, measure, treat, repeat. Gradually, the signal autofocuses until the body gets what it needs. Because we have all these different problems that happen in the body, and it's the cybernetic loop that allows us to really do this. And that cybernetic loop is sending electricity in and looking at things, and this is what the heart of our system is. But in the past, when people would ask us, well, what does your device do? Well, what we've done is I've made a complete medical device. I'm going to be measuring the entire body electric, the amperage, the voltage, the resistance, all these things in this incredible complexity. Since we've been able to find different electrical signals of the liver and the adrenal and thyroid. We can send them in and we can see how people react. We get a very complex. So I've always said it measures the body electric, then fixes it. But that didn't speak directly to the patient's needs. Patient would say, what's it have to do with my kidney? Is my kidney electric? Well, actually, everything is electric. Now we have a new direction. Our device is proven and registered to make children and other people smarter, stronger, with more stamina. Now it's a direct comment, and it's taken to the children, not just to the person, because most people don't always think about treating themselves as much as they are happy to treat their children. But it does work for the other people too, the parents, etc. And this is a whole new direction. And what I'd like you to do is a couple of things that we're going to get started with. And one of them is if we go over to our internet and go to the Facebook, let's see where it is. I'd like you to join this Facebook site. Here it is. This is the site address, www.facebook.com/groups/ask and reveal. As it says in the Bible, ask and God will reveal it unto you. Seek and you will find. We provide a service here, and most of what I've been doing on a day-to-day basis, I wake up in the morning and I go to questions that are on this site. We now have about 750 members. And when you ask your questions, this is where I'm going to be able to really get the answers to you quickest. I don't always have time to go to my Gmail, but I always check this site. Now, if there's a legal question, we will make sure that we deal with lawyers to get you a good solid legal answer. Medical, of course, we don't like to recommend drugs or be involved with drugs, but everything natural we can, and also everything evidence-based. And if you want to keep abreast of this new direction that we're going in with the GSR and the Quantum Super Learning Enhancement Technician, if you want to get in touch with this, go to this site, become a member, ask your questions here so that everybody can get a viewpoint of the answers. And here, what I've done now today, I put a little book on here for today, important websites for the Quantum Super Learning Enhancement Technicians. Here's the preview, and you should download this book. Because here, the Quantum Super Learning Enhancement Technicians. Now we're going that direction of enhancing learning, enhancing sport. We're not going to call it therapy, we're technicians. Now we're kind of taking ourselves away from the medical. You can do the medical, that's fine. You can do biofeedback at that point. But now if you're doing this and just this, medical examiners are not going to be knocking on your door. The practice of enhancing learning, enhancing sport performance, that is not a medical practice. So it's a little bit of a different ballgame. Here's some of the important sites that you need to understand. You need to be able to get to the actual site. You need to be able to get to the Facebook site. QX Subspace, be able to get to that site and join the newsletter. If you go to the QX Subspace site, get onto the newsletter, join the newsletter, and read the newsletter. It's a good thing. Don't just get it, read it.
Hi, Desi. Can you send me that? I think you've sent that to me before, but when after the webinar, if you shoot that off to me, I'll make sure every student and registrant gets a copy of that if you'd like.
Okay. Well, it's right there on the site. It's right there on the site, but I will send it to you. And I have an entire set of books, etc., that they will need to get. And you'll be able to go to immune.net to get grandfathered, or for other information to get grandfathered into the licensing program. Access the journal, access the medical books. Woopers provides access. If you have questions about other devices and you want to find out validity and verification issues, here's the Wellness Apps site to be able to get applications for your patients, etc. Biotech, cybermagnetic chair, information on the United States website. And yes, all this stuff works on your Skios and Indigos. And I've given you access about how to find out this type of information. And it's a little book, and I will send that off to you, Jake, to make sure everybody gets it. But what we're going to do now is that we're going to go to this site, the GSRtDCs. GSR stands for galvanic skin resistance. Galvanic skin resistance is a type of biofeedback. Our device was registered in 1989 to do galvanic skin resistance to the wrists and the ankles and the forehead. And in order to measure skin resistance, we have to apply a current. We apply in a pulsed direct current, a direct current that goes into the brain. It's a pulsation, and it is attached T. The T is transcranial on the forehead, and it's a stimulation. GSRtDCs is what we are doing. This is our device is registered in Europe to stimulate super learning. We've done the tests, we've done the studies, they've been published in peer-reviewed journals, taught in medical universities, and we have medical university research validation that now this is accepted to be able to help our children improve their studies, improve their school and sport performance. That specific claim in America to be able to make improvement of their studies, that's really not a claim that the FDA quite allows. We can claim that we do galvanic skin resistance in the forehead with direct current. This we can say in America. But it's kind of an off use that it improves school performance. However, in America, we can make the claim that it improves sport performance. We've done the test in America. American studies have been done in by American therapists and medically supervised that has shown that we can increase sport performance. Inside the original 1989 510K, there is the quote that our system is able to do neuromuscular re-education, and the Chinese word for sport is tu, which stands for education of the muscles. So our system is completely there for sport. However, if you want to avoid making any type of claims, we recommend you use this website. And by using this website, then you can bring people to, and here in our European website, we're making these outlines, making these claims for you, and they directly do not have to be, you don't have to make them. Now, if you want to pass this course, what you're going to need to do is be able to get to all of the PDFs that are here, download these PDFs, clicking on them to save as, and save these PDFs to your system. And basically, we're going to be asking you questions regarding what's in here. Not every little bit of detail, because we don't expect you to remember everything. But we do want you to know if there is a question regarding research validation, how do you get to it? How do you go to a place to get answers? Here is a host of all different types of research and movies and etc. supporting completely incredible evidence for the techniques that we are doing. And that's just one file attachment. Oh, wrong one. I have to go back to here and go back to here, I guess. Oops. Aha, there we go. If you go to, here's history, the complete history of GSRtDCs. dangers of unmonitored therapy, because we're going to be monitoring, and you people are going to be learning how to monitor, how to do this and to monitor the system. What is the limits, attention deficit, supernature, super performance diet. This is also very important to learn what to eat, what not to eat. This is going to be part of the process. We're going to be asking you these type of questions because the SOC is involved in this. The people are going to be coming to you as a technician / therapist, and you're going to be trained to do a lifestyle assay to help determine if there are partially lifestyle behavioral issues such as diet that might be interfering with their learning potential, might be causing their attention deficit or their hyperactivity. And you're going to need to be able to become skilled in helping them find the resources. You don't have to know the answer to every question, but you have to have the skills to be able to help people get those answers in timely fashion, 24, 48 hours. So all of these little things that we have here are attention deficit order test, attention deficit books, etc. All of these things you're going to need to be familiar with in order to really pass the test. The test will be ready for you to take sometime next week, hopefully by Friday. At this point in time, we're going to turn on the device. I'm going to turn on the adductor and start showing you how to do it. I've turned off the sound. The sound is on in a couple of spots. I'll see if I can. The adductor is found. It's going into the system now. We have this. We continue. Normal password. If you don't know how to operate these buttons, you're going to need to go online and take some courses. You can go onto the Ask site and ask me questions, and I will give you distinct places to go to get the answers to your questions. Demographics. I'm going to load up a new patient. No, I have an old patient today. And we can see that this is a very healthy patient. But I recommend that you do the SOC, and there's an entire course on doing this, so that you can start to find out if they're taking drugs, because drugs are one of the #1 causes for attention deficit and hyperactivity. Cigarette smoke, even secondary cigarette smoke, can be a problem in the house. Metal fillings can be a part of a problem. Unresolved mental factors, allergies. All of these things are very important and should become part of your process. This is important to learn and consider. We have training books and videos to help you to work with these. But most of you people already know these things. We have biorhythm concerns today. So I'm going to be teaching you more about the buttons to hit. Hit the fast track calibration. Today I can't teach you all of the factors. I'm teaching you how to do the GSRtDCs therapy. Any questions you have, I have videos on everything. I have over 1,000 videos, training and educational videos that I've made. Look into my eyes. Just wanted you to see that we do have our patient hooked up here. Is the camera on now? Jake, I don't see any camera. This
Desi,
can't.
let me.
I can't do screen share and camera at the same time.
Um, you can't, but you can switch back.
Well, that's too complicated. That's too complicated, Jake. I just want people to know that there's a patient hooked up. Okay. So let me go back to the Duke door now. Okay. Believe me, you cannot be a super learning therapist and do this all in subspace. Believe me, the American people are not really ready for that. Biofeedback is deregulated in every state, and biofeedback is part of medicine. If you're going to be doing the subspace, then what you're doing is prayer work. And we really don't have complete validation that praying, that an electronic Tibetan prayer wheel makes your kids smarter. Okay? We haven't been able to show that or prove that. Not that it doesn't happen, I'm not saying that, but to build an industry out of it and to start collecting money, that's inappropriate at this time. So I think that what we need to do is make sure you have the harness on. The harness is on. As I go through calibration, it wants me to go through the test, close calibration. And since I have an eductor, it's asking me to do an EEG ECG panel. If you don't have the eductor, if you have the SKIO or Indigo, you will not be able to do this function to be able to get a printout of the EEG pre and post interview. That does not stop you from working, and you will be getting the effect. We've done the research on the SKIO and the Indigo, and yes, there is results. The eductor performs a little better. The eductor also does the following. It allows us to make an EEG. Here we see the left and right EEG of this patient. The left is in black, the right is in blue. We can see when I'll ask the patient now to blink her eyes. When she blinks her eyes, we can see the power. What we're going to do is wait for a full screen sweep. Just relax. We're getting it jumping all around now because she was moving. Now we're going to see if we can get a good screen sweep. There we go. And you can see one hemisphere is steady. The other one's bouncing around. We use this for insurance purposes and for record purposes. I got a good screen sweep. Now I stop the EEG so I can record as a picture and for the results, the last screen sweep. I can go to the ECG, and now I can do an electrocardiogram. We're seeing the heartbeat. There's a lot of additional action going on in the heartbeat. This is our pre-test. Let's see if we can get that smoothed out a little bit more. Now I have recorded and made a picture of the EEG and the ECG. I go to the test, and I'm going to turn off the sounds and hit prepare test. We hit test. System's working through test. And while this test is going on, I can talk to you more about what's going on in the system. I think most of you people know what is going on. In the world today, there are many different types of this forehead stimulation. It started out by being known as cranial electrical stimulation. I got an error on the brain on the test here.
Desi, there was a question. Can you see that EEG information on the SKIO BIG?
Yes, but it's not very good information. You can see it on the BIG, but you won't, and you can record it as a pre and post. However, the SKIO is showing just one whole global measure of the brain, whereas with the adductor, we get a much more refined signal of left and right hemispheres.
And that's because of the actual like components, those sensors that are built
It,
in, right?
it isn't the sensors, it's the fact that the SKIO is 12-year-old technology and that the computers at the time handled information different. And the SKIO was designed at a certain type to do the quantum. Now, the new Eductor is designed with more modern chips and more modern processing, and it's designed to function uh, at the whole level. I'm getting these errors probably because of the problem that we have with getting too much memory. I think that's where I'm getting these errors. We haven't done an awful lot of working with the system. It works perfectly, but now I got the system doing all these other things. But it is working. It's got another 2 minutes for the test.
So to answer the question that Elena asked, yes, it does work with the SKIO, yet it's not the same level of accuracy as the latest hardware.
If you have the SKIO, and the Indigo does not do a good brainwave at all. Okay, the SKIO does, and if you took the SKIO brainwave to a brainwave specialist, you would have a difficult time getting them to recognize it as a modern brainwave. But if you took the adductor brainwave, they would definitely see, oh yes, that's a brainwave. Oh yes, that's an ECG. So the adductor is more skilled at its measurements and more skilled at its display of the measurements. Plus the fact that the adductor is just handling about 1,000 times more data in and out. It's a more advanced system. Imagine what your telephone would look like if you had a 12-year-old telephone, right? What kind of computer would you have? A 12-year-old computer. You know, so it's technology. After a decade, there's a major change in the technology. But the SKIO works. It will do what we're doing. As far as like doing insurance billing, I don't think that you want to do insurance billing with the Indigo. You could do insurance billing with the SKIO, and if you're showing the biofeedback before and after. But I think that if you really wanted to do an insurance billing, third-party payment, you definitely need to step up to the Indigo. And part of the problem is I think when I showed that picture, I overrode the memory. Anyway, there are other types of measurement. Our system does galvanic skin resistance transcranial direct current stimulation, and this is designed to activate the entire brain, whereas a lot of the direct current therapy is only activating one part of the brain and deadening another. They run a positive negative signal to one area and an opposite signal to the other side so that they get an increased function in one area and a decreased function in the other. Our system is designed to activate the entire brain because we're using the grounds in the ankles, not just in the brain. So we're getting a superior form of it. I will hold off from showing this picture until this procedure is over. More questions? While I'm waiting for the results here.
There was a question from John or from Martin. There was a regarding is there a printout yet or a written protocol for this what you're going through?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll show you. Wait till we're done.
Okay.
We're through. Now we have our regular routine here. And now we're basically saying to our patients that we're going to recommend about 5 visits. Okay, let me go to this page here. And what they found in the research has found that after 4 or 5 visits of the TDCS therapy, we do the galvanic therapy, that the effect can last up to 6 months. Now we have found the same thing with our people. We have found that research that also shows the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't like these pictures inside the skin. It doesn't like we do in those pictures. I think the high risk. So inside of the system, let me go back here to this page. Oh, I have to go to this page to get to there. No, back. There we go. So our first visit, I want you to do what you normally do. Okay? What you would do now would be to go to risk profile. You would load this up. You might now want to go to the symptom inventory. We'll load it up by value. Ooh, doesn't like all the memory. It's not showing me the values. It runs perfectly, but now I'm running it with this internet program, and the memory thing is tapping out here. Give me a memory problem. I tested it all day today and it worked fine. I was afraid that it might have a problem with this web program.
And this is actually a good learning lesson in itself, and why, yes, we need to have the accessibility to the internet with our computer for downloads, updates, those types of elements. Yet when you do run a session, we recommend actually not having any other application running, as well as disconnecting from your
I'm going to have to go back in and turn that back on, but these things happen. At the same time, Andrea and I are finishing the videos that we make distinctly. It's asking me if I want to load the last patient. Say yes. We are making videos without the web program so that we could teach you all the buttons, and those videos will be available to you folks next week. The folks who have paid for today's presentation will get those videos. The folks who haven't won't get them. Those videos will be so you'll get all of the videos, including the video of today's debacle performance. Excuse me. And you'll be able to get all that information so that we make sure that you know all the buttons that you need to hit. We've gone through and we've done the calibration, we've done the tests, we've got that information. And what I'm trying to tell you folks is that basically when we get to this point, we want to be able to do the type of work that you can do. Going back to risk profile, load the patient data. There we go. Stress, immune system. This patient has a little bit of a cold today. Immune system, stress, an incredible amount of stress in this patient. Virtual doctor. We load up the top value. For anybody who might be on today's performance who doesn't know all these buttons, we have a host of different training videos that tell you just which button to hit. For most of you who do know about these buttons, we don't want to overbore you. But now we're going into Virtual Doctor. We're holding stress as we go through this. On our first visit, so we want to be able to go to something. And basically what I'm recommending, I usually go to homotoxicology because of my medical connection. But if you want to go to nutrition, emotions, spine, DNA, acupuncture, homeopathy, time therapies, acupuncture is a good one to do for your normal superlearning client. And this patient chose automeridian therapy. Luckily enough, that's what they need. I will turn down the volume. Can you still hear me, Jake? Jake, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. Basically, I forgot inside the test screen to turn off the clasp sounds. Okay. But since my microphone is working on a different system than the clasp, I can turn it off here on this system. But this is a computer system over here, not inside the clasp. Okay. This is inside my computer. Working on the acupuncture system is a really good idea for recognition of your patients. Patients have heard of electroacupuncture. You're balancing all the acupuncture points. It doesn't take too much time. It's fairly easy to do. We go through this type of procedure. Because now on our follow-up visits, after the first visit, where we're going to learn more about the patient and try to help, and we're going to do about a 10 or 15 minute super learning therapy at the end. We're going to do that. Then on the future visits, we're going to do pretty much all the super learning. My study subject has fallen asleep and she's starting to snore. The system is a cure for insomnia. Any questions? We've done the first one. You can see that this patient is too young.
There are a couple questions, Desi, and I answered them to the best of my ability. One was just a confirmation of this also being able, this protocol, the super learning program and protocol, is it available with the Indigo?
Of course, yeah. No, the Indigo is fully registered to do the GSRtDCs. It's just that the Skio does it a little better than the Indigo, and the Eductor does it a lot better. When I say a lot better, in our study, we found roughly about 15% increase with the Indigo, 18% with the Skio, and 22% increase, with the Eductor. So we're talking a couple of percentage points. But everybody with all of the systems, Indigo, Skio, and Eductor, everybody, all the children, all the people, increased their intelligence. And there was no side effects. We've sold 35,000 systems, probably well over 100 million patient visits, if not 500 million patient visits. That's probably conservative. And not one case of any reported significant risk. Now, this is always a good system to do. We can go to the acupoints, find out the acupoint systems, go through the profile. All these little things are good to do. Now that we've done them, we put them together, and we want to make sure that we're going to, with our super learning patients, even with the sport performance, it's always good to go in here and do the brain. If there's heart problems, we can do the heart as well, or we can go to the brain. And we're going to now do the brain wave training on this patient. If you want to know more about how this system works, you can write to us and I can send you the videos on Distinctly This. I'd like to be able to bring up the pictures to show you a little bit more, but every time I bring up a picture I get some type of a little bit of an error there. So I'm going to hold off on doing the pictures. But when I take this tape that Jake's going to send me and I refine it, I'll be able to bring in the pictures to show you a little bit more and explain a little bit more of the science behind this. But at this point in time, what the system is doing, what I can show you, the system is looking at cerebellar dysfunction, slow waves, amplitude disorders, epileptic forms, general asymmetry, injury, bilateral sync, deep brain asymmetry, personality dysfunctions, and attention deficit. Every time, and normal, of course. As we can see from what we've done, every time the patient has produced a normal pattern, a number came up. We can see that this patient here already has a well-established normal EEG. Most of the time when we do this, we see higher numbers down here. But this patient, at least wise today, has demonstrated already a normal EEG. If we saw one of these values to be higher than that normal value, let's say that this was 17 and the highest number here was 28, we would be clicking on the injury profile and doing it again, where now the computer would be sending a pulse to help correct the injury profile, or a pulse, whatever we click on. We can only click on one at a time. We keep doing this back and forth until we can get a value where that patient has a normal brainwave higher than the rest. Over here we can see the percentage, mostly in beta, a little bit in beta and gamma. So we can see where we have the brainwave. We can go back to the ECG and take a look at the heart. It'll take another minute. It looks at all of the accumulated heart information. We saw a little extra, a couple of beats in the heart in between the main cycles. That would indicate to me probably a mineral deficiency. When I checked this patient out this morning to see if everything, it was completely normal. And then she went to the gym and she exercised quite heavily. I think she might have depleted some of the magnesium. And we'll see what the system tells us now. And your indigos and your skios can do this function. But your indigos and skios will not do quite the same memory or report at the end. Here is access to WASA. We can go to the internet and get our access to this program. I'm going to leave that down there. And calcium deficiency, fatty acid deficiency, everything fairly normal. Rita's a bodybuilder. So we've done that. Now it comes time for us to do our therapy. I recommend that you can go here to this Enable Time Therapy. She has automatically selected pain, and as I was starting this test, she reported to me that she had pain in her wrist, some metacarpal. And we're going to set this up to 10 minutes. minimum on the first visit to 15 minutes on the first visit. I'm going to go down here to 4, but I want you to do 10 when you see a patient. We click on this. We have the system working. And now we can go to one of our movies. And I load this movie up. This is a high-res movie. I'm going to see what happens to the memory. And I hope it continues to work. I turned off the volume. The patient now will be watching this movie while I'm doing the work. They're watching on an additional system. And they're getting their relaxation for whatever time is involved while I'm working on the system. I've made these movies at high res. And I've made these movies at quite a large resolution for you to be able to use. And I have a host of them that you can get in a hard drive. And if you have completed this course, I will give you 10 of those for free. But they are quite large. If you look at the gigabyte, this one is 2.6 gigabyte. Now I've made 100 of these onto the hard drive. The hard drive has all of the work that we've done, all of our training movies, our training books, all the journals, and it's now a terabyte. It's 1,000 gigabytes of information and super learning videos. And if you want the complete host of all of the sacred geometry, high resolution videos to do your GSRtDCs on, then you really need to get this hard drive. This hard drive is now $475. That's euros, not dollars. If you have additional questions about what's in it, let me know. But there's a terabyte of natural medicine material in it. We're still working with her now on this. It's at 80%. It's at 80% now. 90. I recommend about 10 minutes or so.
Hi, Desi. There was a request. The CEO is working or a doctor is working window. If you can drop it to just the side, that way people would be able to still see the other program information.
I will try to remember to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, if we go to NLP under our new AFE therapies, here's the old ones: addiction, allergy, enlightenment, energy, general health, inflammation, infection, injury, spiritual connection. And here on the new ones, we have the new ones: mathematics, super learning. And what all of these do, all of these are autofocus in emphasis. That means we've maximized the cybernetic loop to the brain, to the body. And here we have sports, overall pain management, super learning. And you choose one of these areas based on what the patient really wants. Let's say that you're talking about somebody who's coming in for mathematical super learning. Okay? I turn this on. The system comes up. It will start when I click on this button, the AFE. Now it's operating. I can access the big. The big is there for purposes of display, under device validation, start measure. And we can see that what we've done is we have one signal generator operating. We have measures of the voltage at the harness. We have measures of the amperage at the harness. I'm going to go back to this page. When we get up to rectification of 100, we can continue past that. And I do not know why I don't have the second waveform generator button accessible. The second waveform generator button should be accessible for me now.
Desi, it may be because when you booted back up, maybe you didn't run the test again.
Oh yeah, darn! I gotta tell the Venta to bring that up. Yes,
And
you are right. Aha! I forgot that, Jake.
that, that's okay. I'm a student here with everyone else and have
So
been
when that
trying
happens,
so.
I have to go to, where is it? I have to go to turn on the second waveform generator.
And just as a reminder for the Eductor users, the second waveform generator is available after you run a test. It's not available before then. So
Absolutely. Service functions. It won't come up until after the test. You are right. I have to tell him to be able to do that when it comes up on a second run. It never has come up. So I will have to tell him to build that in. It's big. I will have to tell him to do that. We will do that on Monday. If you have a second run, if your computer, but in the meantime, I guess I have to run the test to do it. Huh? I'll have to do the test. Prepare test. Help me out here, computer.
yep.
There it
Desi, if you can hear me, there was a question. Elena, who's on. Hi, Elena. Thank you for joining us. She got the hard drive a while ago. And are these videos new? And how would she be able to access those? She already purchased.
When did she buy the hard drive? She bought the 500, not the Tera.
I'm not quite sure. Elena, when did you purchase the hard drive? You can chat there and I'll.
I don't see her chat. She can tell you.
She hasn't answered yet, so wait. As Mina asked, what if you just click test once only, as this is what I do for quick therapy? Wonder if it would work the same way, not doing the test, but just clicking test once. Well, I think just clicking test once, as Mina will prepare the test.
Yeah, I think that's true, Jake. I'm going to have to. I'll tell the Venta to fix this button.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Elena said, yeah, last year she paid $450.
Last year. we do an exchange rate, but
Okay.
it's 475 and it's a terabyte. Last year she got a 500. We'll work something out for her though. Okay, now we just need the music to stop. I've already told it to stop. That's not. We just need it to stop. And go to NLP, back to our therapy, mathematical superlearning. Aha, now we got the second waveform. We can go to the second waveform generator. There's an autofocus choice, which means that um, the body will be automatically choosing as we flow the intensity of the second waveform. Okay. Now the SKIO is already making a first waveform, just like the SKIO is, just like the indigo does. It's making a form into the patient's body. Okay. It's sending a therapy in, it's sending it back, and it's auto-focusing that therapy. Uh, in the second waveform generator, now it's a second waveform is being pushed on top of that to get a blend of the information. I could choose to have the autofocus system to be on minimal, medium, or maximum, or autofocus as the patient wishes. Next, as we go in, the patient has chosen, and the patient's asleep now, and she's chosen delta wave for sleep. I can now choose a different one. I can choose violet, blue, indigo, green, yellow, orange, or red. And these correspond to the chakra. Red being the base chakra, spleen, stomach, heart, throat, brow, crown. So we have those like the colors, and they correspond to the chakra. Now then a pulse will be sent in for the chakra, whatever chakra we do, and it's irrelevant of what's going into the body from the first generator. When we choose resonant level 1, 2, 3, or 4, we are going to follow what the original system is giving, only it will resonate at a small level, number 1, a larger level, number 2, larger 3, or larger 4. In other words, it resonates to the initial skiotherapy. Then we can send in a brainwave therapy of alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma. We can send these brainwaves in on the second waveform generator to also, and we have an automatic choice as we go in, and then the third choice here on our second waveform generator is whether we want to have both arms, head, leg, arm, all these things on or off. And the best operation is to turn on, but let's say that you want the second waveform to just go to, you could turn off of these different areas and have it go to a specific area if you wish. We are working for the rectification, and now on the big, we can see there are two waveform generators. We're getting information on the voltage, the amperage into the system. Since we are working on a system that is in the AFE, you remember here, these functions here on the AFB, inside the big now, whether you have an indigo, a skio, or an eductor, you can get this biofeedback page. Here's the head harness. This distance back and forth is whether it's symmetrical, whether there's too much energy to the right or left. The head harness. This little graphic on here is the arm harness, and this one here is the leg. This direction to the sides is whether there is symmetry in the energy. The distance up and down is whether there is resonance. Negative resonance happens when the body starts to absorb energy, and positive resonance when the body starts to give back energy. So we can see right now with this person's head energy is very good and high, but their arm energy is sedated and come down low. The leg energy has come up high. Ideally, we want these three to make a man and come up in the middle. But because it's operating in the middle here, not to extremes, this patient is doing good. And right now, the patient, I could wake the patient up, but I don't need to. And I could tell her to put energy into her arms, and she'd be able to do that. Now we have distinct biofeedback to make everybody happy. The regulators looked at our system a couple years ago and said, doesn't look like biofeedback. If it was really biofeedback, there'd be bars and rods and bars going up and down. And here we have the biofeedback. Now we got rods and bars going up and down. We can see the energy coming in and out. And we have our measure of the quantum resonant. We can do both the device validation and this at the same time. You want to show it to somebody to show that it's working. There it is. And what we are doing, let's go back to the screen. As we can see at this screen, we have got to our 100. I recommend that you can do 10, 15 minutes of this on the first visit. This is very powerful. On the second visit now, we finished our first visit. Well, we're not finished. We're still at the end of our first visit. Let's say that I've done 10 minutes of these. I can close down. I can go to Auto Zap, find out where the problems might be, what I want to treat, yes or no. I can then close the program at test level. I can go to rectifications. Let's do that just because it is a good idea. This is the short treat. And what's the system look for little things that might need to be rectified? We can leave second waveform generator on. While we're doing a therapy, we are free to get to here and to go to WASA. Where'd it go? It didn't give me the new one. Oh, I have the old version. I don't have the WASA version. Okay, we've got ourselves, and somebody tells me that on the system we don't read these labels anymore. That's something else we have to fix. We can now close this panel. I can't do the EEG. Oh, I didn't do I went out and in, so now I can't do the second program. Oh. Whenever you're starting to teach, and now you got to worry about your interface with the graphics system. Inside the super bill program, we can make a super bill. We can go to wellness apps from here. I can find informational books. Hit F3 to do a search. Asthma. allergy. We can see that there are books for these different things. Videos unavailable. How did that happen? How did my video? They took my video off? They do that now and then. They don't like some of my videos. Here's a video on allergy. Today's lesson. Training. That's why we have to work with different programs. When I find a video has been taken off one, I put it on Inda. Inda's a Hungarian system that works with us. Let's go back to our program. I can prescribe wellness apps for my patient, books, other information. I have wellness tests. This is the page that allows me to do work, and I could be working on this page while the patient is getting their therapy. With the EEG pre and post, I can get that information displayed for the patient to be able to look at. This must have been her last visit. (9/27). No, that's today. So it started a report. EEG before and after. It started a report with her. Didn't do the ECG after because we had to close out the test. We can save this for the report. We can build a super bill with the information of our clinic. What we've done, we didn't input the patient address, telephone. We could input that now. We could type that information in to the notebook page. And that information could be typed in here and put into it, or because we didn't type it in at the beginning when we saw this patient. And basically, I think that we should be setting a value of $200 on our time for a 45-minute to an hour session. In America, they can pay on CPT code 90875 $25 for an lifestyle inventory. $150 is usually a good rate for a biofeedback training session. And another $25 for report, computer data analysis, also with bibliotherapy and handouts. This gives us a price of $200, which I think we all should try to do to set a precedent of how much our therapy is worth. By setting a precedence of how much our therapy is worth, and if somebody comes in, let's say that you're going to charge them $50, tell them you're going to let them pay $150 of it in karma. Make them pay. They can do karma. They can do good things for their family, their friends. They can do good things for their enemies, for the planet. They can do good things, and then they help to pay us off in karma. But then they get the perception that they paid $200 for therapy. We then get the right value. Everybody gets the right value, and the perceived value of what we do is built. Giving the patient this super bill, and sometimes that they can get paid back by their insurance companies. Not so much on learning or sports enhancement, because in order for an insurance company to pay, there has to be a disease, a diagnosis. We have to have a diagnosis. If you're not able to diagnose, you can put stress in the diagnosis. But if you don't have a real diagnosis from a medical doctor, and many medical doctors will be happy to have their patient get biofeedback. If you have their agreement with a good referral, you want to get a copy of a really good referral prescription program. And the patient, the doctor down the street, he can make a referral to you. And if he gives you a referral and tells you what the diagnosis is with the codes, then you could be working with him. But in order for an insurance company to pay, We have to have a firm diagnosis. Make sure that that diagnosis correlates with the therapies that you're doing as well. That's also very important. And then when you can get that, they could get paid back on their therapy, on the super bill. We have a whole host of other things that you could be working for. And if they don't get paid, we have sample appeal letters. I can write an appeal to the insurance companies. You get 3 chances at an appeal, 30 days in between each, and you'll find that by the time you get to the 3rd appeal letter, you're getting about 85% of your insurance payment can be made, provided that there's a good diagnosis and provided that your therapy biofeedback fits in perfectly for attention deficit or hyperactivity. But since you're not licensed to diagnose that, you want to get a doctor referral. If you are licensed, then you can put that in yourself. If you don't have anything, you can put in stress, because stress is one of the diseases that's kind of an over-the-counter disease that anybody can treat. Okay, now I'm going to close this down. I don't know why I can't close that down. I'm going to close these things down, and I'm going to go back in and show you what follow-up visits are going to be like. Okay. Okay. Questions, anybody?
There's, let's see, there's not any direct questions, but there's some good feedback. And one was this was a question. It was asking, is on the written documents, is there going to be also reference to the differences and variations for SKIO and Indigo?
You mean tech reference?
Well, like the protocol, because there was a couple comments about that some of the screens are different on the Eductor 64 software versus their Indigo.
Okay, we haven't updated the screens on the Indigo. If there's any problem on a screen, that there's a problem, you have to write to me. I don't have an Indigo and I don't use it. We tested the Indigo, it does work. Specifically, if there is a distinct issue, I need to know more of what you want me to fix. So if there's a screen that you're looking at that you don't see it, or functions that you don't see in your Indigo, let me know, and I'll make sure that Leventa puts them into your Indigo program.
Okay, great.
Because we try to do that, but sometimes something might not get done. So maybe you don't have those new QRBs in your Indigo program, and if that's the case, let us know, because maybe you need to update the software, or maybe it's something we forgot. But you have to tell us what we're not psychic, and please do not. Nothing aggravates me more to wake up in the morning and for somebody to say there's something wrong with my system, and I said, well, what is it? Well, I don't want to tell you.
Well, that doesn't serve. What I recommend and what I encourage is
civics.
is to simply, for example, being able to review this information, and you have your Indigo software up. If there's a missing panel or something not coordinating, do a quick screen caption, and then follow that up, add it to an email, and simply state on this page, this is missing this, and actually just, that's the easiest way to communicate with the developers. And like Desi said, they don't know, first step to solving the issue is to be aware of the issue, and letting them know by the graphics really helps them with that.
So make a screen sweep of the error and then tell us what was the button that you hit last, because it really helps. And we're happy. We look forward to fixing anything like that. But it's just extremely difficult for us to fix things if you're not going to tell us what they are, you know.
hmm And something too, Marlene and Marilyn, you're bringing up great things here. Um, I don't know if you've updated to the latest Indigo version, yet they still may. I don't believe the latest Indigo version has some of the QRB and the WASA. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out, and we'll keep continuing to progress with all the different versions. So
Yeah, yeah, just let us know. You'd be surprised how sometimes we can fix something in 5 minutes, and it's amazing. It always fascinates me. Now I'm going back in for my next visit. Now let's say it's a couple of days later, and whatever, and I'm going to be going in. I want to ask questions if anything has changed. Always remember that there is a connection between people's lifestyle and their behaviors. So we want to know if they're smoking, are they smoking less? You know, don't think of the SOC as a constant. It should be a variable, and that number should be going down as time goes by. Don't really need to we've already done the biofeedback for today. When we go back into the next program, we still need to do the calibration. This is always important. Fast track calibration does it all now. We go through the calibration process because this really helps us get the system ready so the system can start off at the right electrical profiles, because it's measuring the body's reactivity, it's measuring the body's electrical potential, the voltage, amperage, resistance, hydration, oxidation, proton pressure, acid alkaline balance, etc. Because all of that is happening through the system automatically. Going through the procedure. Look into my eye. Whether I do EEG on the follow-up or not, I usually would not do that unless I was really worried about it. If the normal person is coming in, if it's an attention deficit case and I found something really disturbing in the EEG, then I would not do this. I'm going to do it again just to show you, because it doesn't take too long. She was moving here, and now she's settling down. There we go. It can take a couple of seconds before the system really adjusts to the brainwave. There is an instability more in her left hemisphere. That's enough of a program to get a judge. Let's see if her heart beats a little better now. It's very slow. We've got an awful lot of little pulses in there. That didn't go away. But we got a screen sweep of that for our information before and after. Whether you do the test or not the second time is pretty much also, again, a call shot, whether you have the time or not. I think it's always helpful just in case there might be something. But if you are really busy on the second, third, or fourth follow-ups, and you're really too busy for that test, then feel free to just jump through into treatment. I'm going to do it because I think it's not a waste of my time. Now we're going to, what's the perceived value of the parent who wants to get their child, their battery topped up? Now, if you take your car battery and you charge it too fast, the battery will explode. You've heard of people doing this, and it does happen. Now, the body has a surge protector, so that if a lightning strikes and you're within a couple hundred meters, you don't die from the electromagnetic pulse that happens, because your body has a surge protector. If you didn't, just walking across the floor, dragging your feet, you might produce too much energy, which would shut the body down. The body works on a very, very low voltage, system. And if we did this, and so with this surge protector, in order to get electrons into the body, we have to measure the body electric, what's the voltage and the amperage and all of this value. And then we, very close to that value, we trickle in electrons if you're acid, or we take electrons out if you're alkaline. But we can't do it too fast. We can't do it, if we do it too fast, or if we do it with too high a voltage, the body will protect itself with a surge protector, and all of a sudden we can't do anything for the next hour. This is why I told people, you see, when you cross that 4.5 threshold with your indigo to get to the 5 volts, see, you're sometimes crossing that threshold where you're triggering the body. As soon as you start to sense that electrodes, your body starts to shield from those electrodes. So I don't like to go past that 4.5. I like to keep it down. The Skio, the Ductor, only goes up to 4 volts for that reason. We built the indigo to do that, because then we would be able to, on certain patients, show them, yes, look, it's working, you can feel it. But if you do that with your indigo, you might be disturbing the value of the rest of your session. So keep in mind, don't do that at the beginning. Do that at the end if you have somebody that's skeptical. Don't do it in the beginning. You might be destroying the work that you're doing. Now, our system is working at this level, going back and forth, establishing the healthy level, measuring and treating. And it usually takes 10 to 15 minutes to begin to top up the battery. Most of our patients are too acid, and they are electron deficient. What makes you acid is meat and potatoes, stress, bad lighting, not getting enough outdoor work, all of these things. So much of our environment makes us acid. So most of our people are driven acid. When you are too acid, you are in a state of electron deficiency. That's why patients who are on the system for 30 minutes or more are much more likely to get topped up and feel better than the patient who's getting 10 minutes. 30 minutes is what I recommend as a minimum for the full treatment that you're doing. I believe that since all of the systems in America have treated biofeedback at a 45-minute to an hour session and valued that attended monitored therapy as $150 for that, that's minimum fees, by the way. In California, they value it closer to $275, and I think that $150 is a minimum fee. The cheapest, that's the fee set by the state of Florida, and in Florida, because of all the old people, they have minimum standards. Okay. So I believe that the perception of the patient, the parent, is that their kids need a 45-minute to an hour session. So now they're coming back in for the second session. We're going to set this thing up. To do this test doesn't take any time. We're talking a couple of minutes. The whole thing, it could be 6 minutes, and we're into the test procedure. You see, we're done now. You've listened to me rant and rave about things. Now I can turn the second waveform generator on. Look at the new report. Don't waste an awful lot of time on this unless you spot something that's particular. If you take a look at this, I usually take a look at the reds. And if I spot something really distinctly related to this patient, boom, then I might follow it up. If not, now I want to on my second visit, if I'm the minimum that I want to be able to do is to go over here to an AFE. I got super learning therapy. Start the therapy. I can load up the big to show the device validation, verification, biofeedback. I can go to this page, but for this page I have to turn the validation page off. On this page now I can play a movie. I can browse to get a movie. Oops. I have to tell the system that I want this type of movies. There we go. And I can choose a movie to play for enuresis, relaxation, and super learning. And GSR will have its own movies that will be placed in here next week for you. Let's do deep muscle relaxation for today.
Right and left. The balance of the right and the balance of the left energy.
Doing a hypnosis.
This makes the symmetry.
An NLP hypnosis.
This makes for health.
I'll turn the volume down now. But there's certain types of frequencies, etc., that I'll be doing, and doing a hypnosis to teach people about the super learning. While they're watching this, they're seeing the resonance in this factor going up and down. They're seeing the symmetry going right and left. They're seeing their oxidation, see this blue, their voltage, their hydration, and their amperage. They can see their body electric improving. You can see this patient's very close to topped up. They can see their symmetry, all the while that they're watching a video. And you could choose other videos. You don't have to choose the video of me. If you don't like pictures of me, fine. There's all kinds of other things to choose from. You don't have to watch me. But you could put other videos in here, other types of music.
We love your pictures, Desi.
Not everybody does. There's somebody who think that I'm the devil, you know, because I wear a dress. Oh, anyway, if that's your, if you don't like, I got a lot of videos to choose from. Okay.
Continue the relaxation.
And while they're watching this, you just set the time, and you want to now make sure they're getting 30 to 40 minutes of this deep type relaxation. I'm going to stop this now. Go back to this page. We can see that happening. And if you don't like, you can change the background picture. Allergy picture. Emotional conflict. We see our patient doing this. We can hear her. And we have our ongoing, I have all different types of things for spirit translation, nicotine release addiction. I have 100 of these high-res videos, healing, and here's a learning disorder. And I put a roller coaster on it. I put a roller coaster on it. I thought that some kids might really like this. And inside there are hidden sacred geometry pictures, subliminal information hidden in the music, the soligo frequencies, and binaural treatment. So this works very well with headphones because there is a different sound from left to right headphone. And if that made you dizzy, I'm sorry. Connective tissue, addiction from shopping. Oh, gee, I forgot I made that one. I better turn that one on right now for Rita. Stop her shopping addiction.
So, Desi, I don't want to interrupt, but there's a couple of questions, and so whenever you're ready, let me.
All different types of music, all different types of styles, nature, animation, etc. Universe. And if you have ideas, if you want me to make one of these for a special type of disease, simply let me know. What are the questions, Jay?
And I want to just repeat that? What's so special about this? And I think the future of how we are going to learn is you have from the creator, everybody, a request. If you have ideas, this is the way the program's evolved. You get to contribute. If you have any thoughts or ideas, go directly to the source and ask, and that's huge. That's a huge opportunity that you just stated. So a quick question is for Martin. Thank you, Martin. Dear Professor, do you think that the oil of frankincense might help too because of the high vibration frequencies of the oil?
Oh, of course. Go on. Who can say no?
Yeah. And
Basic. That's what I'm trying to bring, a flexibility, to everything. So now with the second visit, and let me wind up here just a little bit there, Jake. So now we're on our second visit, and okay, the legs. She got her legs crossed. Yeah, straighten your legs out. Okay, good. She had her one leg underneath each other, and it must not be getting blood flow. You see how it's pegged on this one side here. Now concentrate, try to bring blood flow back into that leg. Okay? Did you feel it? Okay. She's doing that. It'll probably start to move in a little bit. While you're working on this and you're showing the videos and you're doing this, or you could be doing talk therapy. You could be, and what I suggest is also you can pick one of these videos, and they might be studying while it's being played. They might have a big test, and they could be studying while you're doing work on. This is the one that I designed. This is for suggestivity. When you look at this video, there is a subtle vibration of 15K, 15,000 hertz being played. And suggestivity is intensified as we watch this one. So if you want to get somebody to quit smoking and you want to give them suggestions, there's actually, the suggestivity is deepened as we do this. So we have all different types of things for different types of healing, and there's ones for studying that they can intensify their studying: heart disease, back pain, connective tissue, altered states. I had made hundreds of them. Bipolar depression, math skills. you can see the high res in this, because it might not be able to come through on this webcam. Right? So what I'm suggesting is that the second, third, fourth, and fifth visit become more of an experience rather than an intellectual proposition. Gradually, with each visit, you make it more experiential rather than discussion. You do mostly discussion your first and second, and then third, fourth, and fifth, you make it more and more blended. And you might, here's a sales presentation that I made on the device. There's all different types of things that you might be looking up. And they might be watching a video on math or sports or how to hit the ball or something. And the system will adapt and intensify the learning experience while topping up their battery, making them supercharged. And we find that after 4 of these therapies, 4 or 5 of these therapies, the effect can last 6 months. We see that we've got 100% rectification, but you can keep going. It keeps deepening. And after 30, 40 minutes, if the battery should get too full, the system will start to bring down and just do a little bit of a tickle, because it measures the system and it won't overcharge. So we've seen this, and now this is what we do in our follow-up therapies. And then when we're done, we make a report. If we want to do the ending EEG, ECG, let's see if we've stabilized her, taking a look at her EEG. We'll see if we stabilize that EKG, by the way. We got good results on the brainwave. Brainwave is much improved. Let's see if our ECG is. There's some improvement, but I'm still wondering why there's a little extra static in here. Whoa, Gesundheit.
Thank you.
On our Superbill access on leaving. Pre and post. In the next version, we'll be able to do GSR and EMG on this page as well. Or I think it might be a separate page for that. We'll be able to then look at other factors of what we did, SOC report, stress, all of this very quickly and very easily. I have an entire set of training to tell you completely how to do the report, how to make the report, and very quickly you can send people home with a wealth of data. Okay, what's your questions now?
There was, let me just go through and filter. Can you please define I think binaural?
Binaural simply means we are aural for ear, and we are giving a bi, so we're giving a different signal to the right ear than the left.
Okay, thank you. Hope that answered the question. It did. Thanks, John, for the good question. Martin asked, what are your thoughts on structured water?
Meaning?
Dear Professor, what are your thoughts about structured water? Does it help?
Water has a memory. Water has a memory. It has, because it's a polar substance. At temperatures between 0, which when water becomes very structured, becomes ice, okay, becomes a liquid crystal. Water maintains a crystal-like up until it hits about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, and then water loses, when it gets too hot, water will lose its liquid crystal and become true liquid. But in the middle, water actually maintains a liquid crystal. So it's structured. Okay. Now, certain waters, like distilled water, the structure's gone. It's been taken out by the extreme heat, and it's forced to reabsorb. Now, water normally, if it's RO water, it can maintain. But I believe that what holds the structure together on water is known as the zeta frequency. There's a frequency of how water, H2O, separates into a free hydrogen radical and a hydroxyl, and then goes back into H2O. This oscillation is known as the zeta frequency. And a good zeta frequency, then we get a balance. Now, let me go back into our system here. Go back into the Duke door, and I'll show you where you can generate into water the right frequency. I shouldn't have turned the system off so quickly. I knew you'd have questions inside there. Other questions while I'm looking for this?
There's some. Thanks everybody for asking these great questions. This is what this is about. You're learning. There's a couple of chats I've had with Christine about she's heard, from different various schools of thought that it's not as beneficial to have the client see the monitor because you want them in a state of relaxation. What are your thoughts on that? What I stated to Christine is there's different schools of thought, but again, the definition of biofeedback is feeding back information. And
that's what the big is for.
Right.
You see the big, now what we do is we have an extended monitor. You can't really see it here. Mm-hmm. But what I have is an extended monitor where I can show the movies or I can show the big to the client.
Okay, right.
And then the client's not going to see words that maybe might scare them.
That's something I want to, Desi, maybe you and I can collaborate, or I want to somehow record, when I'm back in Colorado, record the actual office structure setup that my father uses, which is similar to he learned right from Desi. But that separation gives you the power, and not the power, but you're able to navigate and continue with the navigation while also enabling the person to see the information if they wish. Now, at the same time, there's people, no matter what you show on the screen, they go into that like theta state of relaxation or that sleep mode, which is, I think, something very positive too. But we hear what you're saying, Christine. You don't want to be bombarding them with a bunch of the test matrix items and because that's what you are trained to interpret correctly, and that can cause also more stress when they see a high reactivity to a substance. They not understanding how the QQC has captured that trivector field and what that means. That's where your expertise helps translate the data and information. Hopefully that answered your question. So you're right. You don't want to show them that, but you do want to show them something, I feel.
Well, yeah, you got it. No, you got to show them something. That's the whole purpose of biofeedback. And that's why the big was designed, so that we could show them different things inside the big. They can watch their Varho. They can do other things. They can watch a movie, and then they can be entertained because that's what you need. The cybermagnetic chair now enters in a whole new dimension of sound with the headphones, where we can play the magnetic feeling that rushes through the body. So basically, patients need to have it. But if all of a sudden I'm going to show the patient, this screen, and let's say at the top of it there's AIDS. Well, do I have AIDS?
Yeah.
Well, you've reacted to it. Well, I've reacted to it. What do you mean? Boom. You're off into craziness. Mm-hmm. And people can get crazy. So this type of screen is just not for everybody to see. You got to be careful what you show them when you show them these type things. Mm-hmm. Up here, by the way, while I got it here, energize water. If you click on this button, a sound will be made from the headphone output that will be at exactly 1,000 hertz and exactly the right waveform, and it will intensify the zeta effect of water. So if you take a headphone jack from your computer and rip off the headphones, or let's say one of those earphone jacks, you know, and you take out and you just take the two wires, there's a positive and a negative, and you put that into 1 liter of water, approximately a quart, and for about, you hit this button once or twice, maybe 3 times, and 1,000 hertz energy will run through the water, and it will help intensify the structure of that water. I'm assuming that John's question, was it John, about the structure of the water was such. Maybe there's some other companies selling structured water, I don't know. What I made is this one. Now, if you want to do that water energized from the device through the point probe, this will turn that same frequency into the back of your device where you have the green and red, okay, a banana plug, the red and the black and the banana plug. Mm-hmm. And between the red and the black, or the red and the green, you would get that intensity. You could put those 2 electrodes into a quart of water and run that, hit that button, and it will send that energy in. And it helps that water to be more structured. And if you want to know more about water, write to me, and I have all kinds of books and all kinds of work that I've written on water. Last questions for today? I have a series of videos that will tell you more about the buttons, and we'll go through this. Jake will send this to me, and we'll work on some more work. This has been the beginning of the class. You won't have to pay any more money. If you've already paid this, you'll get those videos involved in this class, and you'll be able to get the test. The test will be out on the Immune site, or will be sent to you directly by Jake, hopefully before Friday next week. If you pass the test, you'll be able to get the GSR onto your, either on a separate certificate or onto your biofeedback license certificate, depending on how you want it, and I will send you samples. If Jake will give me a list of all the people in the course, and I will send you samples of what you might want, and then you could choose.
Excellent. And if there's any questions, there are a few questions left, Desi. I don't know if you would like to address them.
I'd be happy to. Let me go to. Can I see them on the system now?
Yes, you can. You can.
Oh, there they go, right over here.
And yeah,
you can take off the harness now.
I feel so great.
Thank
you. I see.
I'd like to also thank Rita. Thanks, Rita, for your participation and allowing us to well work on you.
Well done.
You were asleep, so you probably didn't see any of the videos. But
I feel very, very comfortable, very different, uploaded and energetic, like I was put on a charger for 2 hours.
Oh, good. Well, that's good news.
And my mind feels so free, so energetic. It's cool.
Okay, what other questions, Jake? Cut to the chase. I see a lot of comments. Direct questions there?
Okay, there's a direct one, and we'll just go up top down here. Can you use the cybernetic chair with the Skio?
Of course, yeah. The cybermagnetic chair. Let's see if I got a picture of it now. I think if I turn off the system, I can show you those pictures.
Closing the quantum zero.
So let me do that. And we're close to the end here. There we go. This is, you see the cybermagnetic chair. Now, we are already using the USB port. We started off building our system, the QXI used the parallel port. And then we used the serial port. They stopped the parallel port, so we used the serial port. Now they stopped the parallel port. Everything went to USB. We switched to USB as well. Now, we don't really have the complete system able to do inside CLASP to do the sound work. So I wrote the cybermagnetic program has a complete sound program, and it uses the headphone and the microphone. Every computer's got a headphone microphone jack. So now your SKIO is hooked up to the USB, and it's sending electrons in and measuring electrons out. That's basically what it does. It measures electropotential and sends in electrical signals. Now the cybermagnetic chair will send out sound through the headphones that is converted into magnetic energy by a magnetic pulse that goes into the person, and then we measure the reactivity of how the person reacts to that magnetic pulse, and that comes back into the microphone. All of this works with your indigo, your SKIO. It harmonizes so that they can work together, and then when there'll be a handshake, and you'll see that when the cybermagnetic chair recognizes that it's an indigo or a SKIO or a eductor, and then the eductor will recognize that the cybermagnetic chair is on, and they're sending information back and forth, and it's very interesting because you can watch them talk. Now, I will be doing a future webinar on how to do the cybermagnetic chair, and that's a trademark word. Because the very, very exciting thing is we are unlocking genes, epigenetic genes. I had a man who was colorblind on the cybermagnetic chair, and within 2 days he could see color. We unlocked the gene. It was amazing. I believe that we have the ability to change our genes to a certain extent. A lot of our genes are locked up through epigenetics, and scientists have proven that we can reprogram the DNA with words and frequencies and magnetics, and that's what the cybermagnetic chair does. Unlock your epigenetic genes. I have a whole system of training videos and books that I've written on this.
Excellent. And Elena, you can purchase any upgrades or equipment and elements directly through me. I can work with you on getting the cybernetic chair and upgrades. I'm the man. I want to help be there for you on that level. Next question. Marlene, thanks. Marlene had to go, but said it's extended a thank you. Elena asked, do we have to do the activation of remote viewing, etc. at the beginning? Like when we...
No, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to. Okay.
No, it's not that you have to do that.
Let's see here.
Now, in addition to the chair, Jake, I'd like to mention, in addition, there's a plug-in to the chair and a plug-in to the SKIO where there's a magnetic wand. It's a little stimulus wand that you can put onto different parts of the brain or acupuncture points. And what it does, it generates a signal into the brain. It generates a type of scalar wave into the brain. Let's see if I can find the thing for it. Yeah, here it is. It's a caduceus wand, and it takes information from the scalar or from your SKIO and sends that into the body. And that comes with the cybermagnetic chair, and that's what it kind of looks like.
Oh, okay.
And inside there's a caduceus coil. And now you can use this to apply acupuncture energy, scalar frequency, and now you can get incredible more results from acupuncture work. And that comes with the cybermagnetic chair.
Oh, excellent.
I'll be definitely in the future. Today I tried to teach you folks how to basically get started doing GSRtDCs. It's relatively easy. You're just going to be doing the same thing that you've done before. And then on your second, third monitor system, you're going to be enticing the patient to get into more of a trance state while you're electrically charging them up. And believe me, everybody gets results. And if you start working with diet and lifestyle and etc., you get more results. And it's absolutely exciting. And now that we can answer people direct questions like, what do we do? Well, you know what? We make your children a little bit smarter, a little faster, a little stronger. We have complete validation, evidence, legality. It's the vehicle now. We finally got a real good, solid direction, a simple direction to help you folks. It's not going to be so complex. If you want to do work and do all the kidney work and all that stuff in the liver, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But if you just want to do work on getting people to do better math, it's simple. You hook them up.
We are happy also to motivate people for sport, giving diet advices, and the machine helped me also to get ready for a very nice sports photo shooting.
So we've got a new thing. We don't have to be so medical. If you have a medical license, that's fine. You can work on depression, etc. If not, you can just say, hey, I'm making you smarter. Oh, by the way, my depression went away. Oh, great. How about that?
And the machine makes you stronger.
We have all the evidence. It's fantastic. Rita and I are going into a whole new thing where we've been able to show that we can make growth hormone in the body with hormone streaming.
That's true.
That's fantastic. We've been able to do that. So
Desi, to wrap things up here as we come upon the 2-hour mark, leaving everyone with a clear action step, what's the next step for everybody on the call today?
okay, next step is I'm going to have a couple of new videos that we're going to make more about the buttons, reiterating it in a different way. Andrea's doing this. We'll have this ready for everybody. And then by next week, I will have the test questions ready. The next step for them, this is, Matt Mendenhall was the first guy who started using the SKIO and to build his body. Adam won an international championship with the SKIO. Andre won it. This is Rita, by the way, up here. She's been working with the SKIO. And it's amazing. We have our new hormone streaming site. Okay. Next step for everybody is to go to this site. Go to the GSR site. Uh-oh, I think I closed the site down. So let's go to Ask. Here we go. Let's go to the book I got there. Go to the book. Go on the Ask site. Get it from Jake. Get this little book on sites. Go to this site here, GSRtDCs. Start familiarizing yourself with this procedures and all of this learning. It will be, the test questions will be easy. Don't get too crazy. I'm not going to ask you crazy stuff. But one of the things that we do have to worry about is diet, etc. I will ask you what GSRtDCs means. I will ask you for what WHOOPers means, World Health Product Ratings Service. I will ask you what the number 11 means versus a number 4. Simple questions. Familiarize yourself with these things. Get ready for the questions, because there's in order for us to give you a certificate, etc., we need to make sure you answer the questions. As far as today's presentation, it's relatively simple, but still, we really want to try to control our industry. And we really don't want some of the buffoons that have machines to hurt our industry by going out and not doing it proper, because they want to save 150 euro. So let's try to make sure we maintain a level of professionalism. Because what we're going to be working with is helping people to, develop their synaptic clefts and everything and get stable. So let's not share this information, too readily. Make people. It's 150 euro. It's not the world. Come on, let's get together and, work on this.
And I did request, Desi, that everyone, this is their investment. This is why to protect it and not share the replay link. Everyone will have access to the replay immediately after, and it's only for your eyes only. And at the I'll answer Christine's question and let everybody know that I'll compile a little follow-up document on behalf of Desi and Immune and get you the links, the document where he's been sharing information on the hard drive, and of course, little review of what's following, what's coming next for you, the test. You'll be able to review this information, and other than that, I just congratulate everyone. Congratulations on adding to your body of information, which is one of your tools, just like the system and device. Your education is one of those tools, if not the most important. And I just commend everyone. Thank you, Desi.
Well, I just want to say that in the very near future, this is a real fantastic job opportunity. Because believe me, now that we're able to electronically, very, very safely, very, very easily make people smarter, sexier, stronger, this is going to be a major employment. Every company is going to want to have people doing this. There's going to be dramatic opportunities in sales of these devices as well as becoming technicians. If you know young kids coming out of school that want to really look into the future, don't tell them to be a VHS repairman. Okay? Tell them don't go out and try to sell typewriters. Tell them to try to sell this technology and or become a technician. This is not only going to be exciting, it's going to be very, very lucrative, because I'm here to tell you that there's 7 to 10 billion, 7 billion people in this world, and that half of them can afford and want this therapy. Where's the graphic on that? Oh, there it is. I see it. Believe me, 7 billion people in the world, 6 billion people need this, and 3 billion people can afford it. A couple $100 to be a little smarter before their next job interview, before their next sales presentation. One sales presentation and one house presentation, you get that extra sale. What are we talking about? A couple $100 to sharpen the old brain? Ah, come on. This is a major, major new step for us as we all get together in this. Okay, guys? I'm happy. I had a good time. But I am tired.
I had a great time as well.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your weekend, Desi. Thank you, Rita, for showing up and supporting the learning. And thank you, everybody. There's some great appreciation statements coming. Thank you, Desi, for all your work. And we will continue on. Expect within probably Monday, everyone, I'll be sending out this information when I gather it and collect it. And I will also remove people. I'm going to CC everyone so we have each other's information as requested. So I request that if you would like to not be on that list, just let me know, and I'll make sure to get you the info, yet won't share your information out of respect. So with that said, what a wonderful, wonderful presentation. I learned a lot, and I'm excited to apply it for myself as well as my family here, because I'm not a trained professional. I'm just a sales and marketing guy. That's all I am. I just love the work, and I believe in this because I've been actually a client probably longer than most people.
Yeah, I tell you, that's for damn sure. You were right there at the beginning. You met Mad Mendenhall.
I did, and he helped create some of those formulas, and I remember all through high school, in my sports and in excelling as an athlete, I remember I actually wanted and it got my father to get me, so I naturally got the supplementation from the aminolipotrophic, oxylipotrophic, and the study with the Cleveland Browns, and I had the whole repertoire of things that had me excel, yet keep my sanity and not lose, let's say, not premature or artificially grow, yet be supported with those. And those formulas are absolutely phenomenal. So a little shout out and honor to my father, William James Cunningham, who worked with Professor Nelson, still does today with White Dove Healing Arts. Check out those formulas if you haven't already, because those are originally the test matrix items that Desi formulated. And I have to also always honor that. But yeah, Matt Mendenhall, I remember I had a signed autograph picture somewhere of him because he's a natural bodybuilder.
He was using steroids, and he came to me, and the steroids were killing him.
Mm-hmm.
He was in really bad shape, you know. And then basically he came to me, and and he was one of the very first person back in 1988. We put him on the system, and he could get off of the steroids and just make, and he helped us to develop that, the hormone streaming. He just really was able to beef up even more solidly. He started using the system and working with me, and he put on 50 pounds of muscle mass within a couple of months. It was just amazing. Steroid free, hormone streaming. And so many of the other people have been working with us, and it's just amazing. So now it's time for us to take a different direction and get everybody going. And this is one of the jobs of the future. I'm very excited. I think go on, write me your questions, or give me your comments. Let's turn this industry around, okay?
Thanks, Desi, and please, yes, close down, because that toe on the bottom of your ads on on the Facebook is ruining my appetite. So I'll. But
I'm signing off.
Thanks, Desi, and any other questions, you guys, and any support stuff, feel free to reach me at info@whitedoveglobal.com, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Blessings to you all.
Thank you. Wish you the same.